Hi everyone, it's Jules, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite games. It is Sorry. So, Sorry has been around for a really long time. It was actually invented in the 1920s by a guy named William Henry Story. He invented it in the 1920s and he patented it in 1929, and in 1934 it was actually named the most fashionable and largest selling game in England. So it was developed in England first. Then in 1932 it got its patent in Canada, and then in 1933 it's got its patent in the US and is now owned by Hasbro. So it's been around since the 1920s. So still very popular today. I was playing it as a little kid. I remember with my parents. They re-released it, so it looks a little bit different now than when I was playing at age, 8 or whatever, however old I was when I was playing it. I don't have the old copy anymore, but I do have a new copy that I bought in Albany at a little ice cream store that was selling re-released versions of old games, like Battleship and other things, and Scrabble, and I think some other stuff, but I bought Sorry because I love Sorry. So, Sorry is 2 to 4 players, and it's for ages about 6 and up, which is about right. There's some reading, but it's very easy reading, not too crazy, not too hard. So I think a 6-year-old should definitely be able to handle it. So this is my released version of Sorry.
He's his own doctor.
And like I said, it's owned by Hasbro. Right there, if you can see, Hasbro. A lot of games are owned by Hasbro. Hasbro's like probably the largest game selling company at the moment. I think they bought out like Parker Brothers maybe. So I'm going to just kind of show you the pieces and explain the game. So when I bought the new game, I actually did notice some differences between this version, the new re-release version, and the old original version. So I'm going to talk to you about those two. I play by the older rules. I just thought they were better, but I'm going to tell you the new rules too, and that way you can decide what you prefer. So, you got your pawns, your yellows, your reds, your blues.
Was your
Let's
side
see
arm?
how many pawns I can handle, and your greens. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but it's 3 of each. There's 3 of each color. Now, in the original game, there's actually 4 of each color. They changed it in 2013 from 4 pawns to 3 pawns. I don't know why they changed it. I personally prefer it with 4 pawns because I do like the game to last a little bit longer and have a little bit more choice in what I'm doing. So what I do when I play is I actually get a dice. I have tons of dice. Me and my husband are huge Dungeons and Dragons fans and other RPG games, so we have tons of dice. So what I do is I grab a dice of a similar color and I just add it and make it a 4th pawn. I've also done it with bottle caps when I was playing in a bar once, and I've also done it with jewelry, though I would recommend not doing it with expensive jewelry. You don't want to lose it. But like I had like some cheap rings, and I would just take them off and use them as a 4th pawn. So like there's a lot of options. You can also use coins. So lots of different options if you want to play with that 4th pawn. I prefer it, but if you don't want to, it's up to you. So this is the board. It definitely looks a little bit different than the board I remember growing up. It was like a light blue, but it's fine. It still works as a board. So to play, what you do is you take your pawns. So I'm just kind of blue over here, and you put them all in start. Now you can play with 2 to 4 players. You can play with 3 players. A lot of times it's just me and my husband playing. So what we'll do is we'll actually each take 2 colors, but we'll draw separately. So I'll draw for blue, and then I'll draw for yellow, and he'll draw for green, and then he'll draw for red. So we're each playing 2 teams. Blue and yellow are the colors I like to pick, so those are the kind of the colors I tend to go with when we're playing when we're playing just the 2 of us. So you start your pawns in start, And then there's this deck of sorry cards. Not every number is in the deck, but there's enough. I'll explain it. So you draw, and I got a 10, but I can't do anything. Because in the new version of Sorry, to get out of start, you have to have a sorry card. And there's only 4 in the deck. There's 4 of each number. This says, move pawn from start area or take the place of another player's pawn, which must return to his own start area or move forward 4. So, I can move my pawn from start. Or if there's another pawn out, I can take its place and send it home. Or if I was already out, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is another rule that's a little different. In the original Sorry, you can move out of start with a Sorry, a 1, or a 2. You can also move forward 1 or 2, but you could also move from home, so just 1 or a 2 would take you out. In this game, 1 or 2 doesn't do that. Also, in the original game, if you had a 2, you could draw again. So I play that a 1 or 2 also does release you from start. I don't play that a 2 is draw again, but I do play that a 2 can. I just think there's only 4 sorry things in the deck. So though it is a board game, so it's not always fair, it is luck based, I do think it takes a really long time to wait for one specific card to come around. And there's so many opportunities to get sent home in this game that I don't think it's fair to have to wait for these 4 specific cards in the deck. I just think it's... And it can get really frustrating. You're like drawing and you're just turn after turn and you're just not getting it, and everyone's moving around the board having a grand old time, and you're like, oh there, look, 10 turns later I can finally move 1 pawn from start. So that's how I play, but up to you. So the other cards we got are 10, which is move forward 10 or move backward 1. Move forward 3. Move forward 1, or if you're going to play by my rules, leave from the start. Move forward 8. Now 7's cool, you can move forward 7 or you can split. So if I have 2 pawns out, I can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I'm like over here, I might try to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just get that pawn home. Or like if you land on the same space as another pawn, you actually can knock them out. So if I have 2 pawns out, I might go 1, 2, knock this one out, send it back home, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7s can be used defensively, offensively, or you could just move forward 7 with 1 pawn. It's really your choice, but you cannot move a pawn from home. Move forward 2, or release your pawn from home. Move forward 11's cool too. It's move forward 11, or you can change places with an opponent. So if you have an opponent, so here's what you're trying to get. You're trying to get all your pawns to home. If you have an opponent here, and you're like here, and you get an 11, it's much more sense to do that, and now you're really, really close to going home. Now, in some cases, it might also help your opponent. In some cases, it won't. You can also do it to just kind of mess up your opponents. Like if they're really close to home and you're, maybe you're really close to home too, but you're like, what, let's screw that opponent up. Now they have to go all the way around the board. So you can use either offense move, defense move, whatever you want. Move forward 12, which is a huge boon. Move forward 5. The only one is 4, and that's a move backward 4. And also 10, if you remember, it's move forward 10 or move backward 1. Now the cool thing about moving backward is I'm going to just do that again. Sorry, you can't see my face. If you just got out of start, so let me just kind of see if I can bend the board upward a little bit. Alright. Like, you just see if I can show you like really quickly how this works. Alright, let's say I'm yellow and I just got out of start, so I'm here, right, and I have to get here. Now I could go all the way around the board, or I could go backwards 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now look, I'm really close, I can go home. That's awesome. Also here it says safety zone, so if your pawn is in that zone, no one can bump you. So that's kind of cool. So that's how you win. You try to get all your 4 pawns home before any other player can get their 4 pawns home. Now, the other rule is it has to be an exact number to get home. So if you're yellow and you get a 12 and you're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh, that doesn't work. Now, you can wait, keep your pawn here, or, and I don't know if this is actually part of the rules or not, it doesn't really say anything, but what we used to do is sometimes if we had another pawn to move, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. You got 12 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're out of the safety zone, not so great, but it is an option that I play with. And again, I don't remember if that's allowed or not, but that's how I always played it. Let's see. I don't remember. Safety zone. Huh. Oh, yeah, I knew that. Once again, home, do not move that pawn again for the rest of the game. So it doesn't say. What it does say is you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4. You actually have to go backward along the whiteboard. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then you're really close. So, it's fine. Now, there is one last rule, and if you remember, sorry, you might remember it, is the slide zones. And once again, these rules differ from how I learned it as a child. Slides here. So if you remember, if you were here, you landed here and your opponent was here, you could slide, knock them off, say sorry, and then have to go back to start. You had to land here and a pawn had to be here. If you're here and there's no pawn, you could still slide, but you just couldn't knock anyone off. And if you knocked them off, you go sorry, Now, the rule in the original is any pawn, regardless of the color, could slide on any slide. What they did is they made it a little different. See how the slide only has green, yellow, and blue? Only green, yellow, and blue can slide on that one, in that particular one. So each color has 2 zones where they're not to slide. So reds can't slide here, blues can't slide here, yellows can't slide here, and greens can't slide here. And if you can't remember, it does show you the colors that are allowed to slide. Original game, you could slide anywhere you wanted to.
Constantly.
This new game, apparently you can't. So, I don't really like that rule. I think sliding should just be allowed any which way you want, but that's how they made the new game. So, as you can see, I kind of like the original rules better. I'm glad that I own Sorry. I do really enjoy the game. I am bloodthirsty when it comes to this game. I will make people play with me until I win. I usually win the first round, so it's not really that bad. But I did prefer the original rules. So, some pros to Sorry is that it's really easy to learn and it's really easy to play. Like I said, 6 and up, you could probably play with someone a little bit younger, so long as there's someone there helping them with the rules. So it is a family fun game. You can play with your kids. You don't have to just play with people who are your own age, because it's not a lot of skill or hard rules to learn. It's not too much reading. I think kids, once they kind of understand the numbers, they'll probably just remember what they can do in each number. And, it's all ages, really quick to learn, a little bit longer to play, but it's, again, not like Monopoly. It's not going to take you 3 days to play. You can play, a round or 2 in an evening. The cons, however, at least if you play in my house, not everywhere, but in my house, it is an uber competitive game. There is yelling and tears, but I'm sure there are civilized people out there who can play this game and not want to kill each other by the end of the game, so that could just be a con in my house. I think it's an uber competitive game, but that's me. Another con is that it is 4 or less players, so you really can't play with a big group. So for like a game night with like 6 players or more, people or more, it's not really a game that you can break out and play with everyone. You can have teams, but it's not really a game that really lends itself to needing teams, so... and it's not super travel friendly. So you can see my board here, I don't know if you can tell, but it got bent because I think I accidentally stepped on it. On the inside better yet, like look at that, got all bent. But you know, you throw it in a car, it's gonna get bent, it's gonna get thing. You know, you could put the pawns in a baggie or put the cards like with a hair tie around them. But unfortunately, with the board and with the box, it's not exactly a game that's super easy to travel with. I have traveled with it, but I mean, look at it, it's all banged and ripped and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. Board games, they get old, they get damaged, and I think traveling with them just makes that happen a little bit faster. So I'm hesitant about traveling with games that are come in boxes where you need all the pieces to kind of stay together. So Sorry is very similar to Ludo, which I've never played. It's a game from a while ago, and it was like Sorry, but there's no sliding, and the board game was like a cross instead of a square. I've never played it though. And then it's also similar to Parcheesi, which I vaguely remember Parcheesi, but I think the last time I played I was like 9 years old in my friend's living room when we were like laying on our stomachs and playing it. So I can't really tell you the rules. I know it's not too hard of a game. I know it is kind of similar to Sorry with the colors and trying to get here to there. So similar to those games. And it's won some awards. So besides from, you know, being called the most fashionable and quickest, largest selling game in London in 1934, in 1980 to 1982, it made Game Design's top 100 game list. So that's pretty awesome, because there is thousands and thousands of games out there. So being in the top 100 for 2 years is pretty awesome. It's definitely in my top 10, probably. Yeah, it's definitely in my top 10. Also, what's really cool about Sorry is there's so many different versions out there. So there's like Big Sorry, there is like Roller Sorry, where there's like actually like a marble and it makes the pawns slide a lot easier. I actually do have another version. I have Disney Villain Sorry, which I got from my brother-in-law for Christmas one year, because he knows I love Sorry and he knows I love Disney. Now, he's a bigger villain fan than I am, but it's Disney, so, you know. So, Disney Villain and Sorry, in Disney Villain Sorry, you are one of these fun guys. You're either Maleficent, which is the villain from Sleeping Beauty, Jafar, which is the villain from Aladdin, Scar, which is the villain from Lion King, and Ursula, which is the villain from Little Mermaid. Now, the cool thing about Villain Sorry is that there are 4 pawns, which makes me excited, and they made these pawns look super cool. I can't wait to show you. So we got, this is Maleficent, which it looks like it's green, it looks kind of like a dragon. Like I said, there's 4. Then there's Jafar, which is red and looks like a snake. It kind of looks orange there, but it is red. Then there's Ursula, which looks like a trident with tentacles all around it, and it's purple. Like I said, these are really cool. I mean, they're plastic, but the detail is phenomenal. And then, out of my favorite villains, there's Scar, which he's actually orange. So you can see there is a difference. This one's red, this one's orange. And it's a lion face, which is like kind of hard to tell, but I think, yeah, before Scar's probably my favorite villain. Just because in the Lion Kingdom, the rules are that the strongest lion, like, takes over the pride. So I think he was just exercising his lion rights, which I know he, like, kills his brother and is terrible, but I think he'd have to be my favorite villain. Cruella de Vil's crazy, too, but she's not in this game. And I just don't understand why you want a puppy skin coat. That's sad to me, but that's just me. So here's the board. Really colorful, really fun, really Disney-esque. Awesome game. And it's played just like regular Sorry with a few exceptions. So the first one, of course, is the 4 pawns. And I like this game because they follow the more original Sorry rules. So. 1. Move a pawn from start, or if in play, move forward 1 space. 2. Move a pawn from start, or if in play, move forward 2 spaces. And of course the Sorry card, move a pawn from your start area to take the place of another player's pawn, which must return to its owner's start area, or move forward 4. So there are 3 ways to get a start in this game, which is the original way that original Sorry was played. So I do like the rules of this one a little bit better than the re-release version. Of course, I played the re-release version with the original rules, but I like that these are actually the written rules. And each card actually has a really cool name. So like they're Sorry, but then 1 is Start Your Journey, and 7 is Deception, which 7s are played, all the other cards are played the same way. Like 7 you can split, 11 you can change places, 10 backwards 1, 4 backwards 4, 4 Glimpse in the Past, 8 Curse, 10 Break the Curse, 11 Betrayal. So it 2 Summon, 3 Incantation. So they're all really cool magical names. And the slide, any player, I think, let me check, I'm pretty sure any player can slide anywhere. Let me just make sure before I give you the wrong. Slide. Okay, so in this one, if it's your color, you can only slide in your color. So green can only slide in these 2. Red can only slide on these 2. Purple can only slide on these 2, and orange can only slide on these 2 over here. This orange corner. Yeah. So, orange has these 2, green has these 2, red has these 2, and purple has these 2. I think sliding should out anyway, but that's just me. Now, the name of the game Sorry is because when you bump someone, sorry, and they have to go back to home. Or if you land in a spot, sorry, and they have to go back to home. Now, admittedly, I'm not a Disney villain. I may be kind of fond of Disney villains, but I'm not a Disney villain. I wouldn't say sorry. I'm a villain. I do evil and I bask in my evilness. So I thought, for this version of the game, they should say a villain tagline. So I came up with a few. Now you can use whatever tagline you want. You don't even have to use a tagline. But I thought, if I'm Maleficent, the green, one thing she says is, "You poor simple fools, thinking you could defeat me." Now that's very long. So you could just be, "You poor simple fools," and you slide them and bump them back. "You poor simple fools," and you say it in your like evil voice. Now, apparently Maleficent actually isn't a villain. But in this game, she is. So, then you got Jafar, who doesn't really, I was looking up taglines, I didn't really see a good one for him, but when he, like, gets the genie, at one point he's like, "The power, the absolute power," so you could do that. Then Ursula, "Poor unfortunate soul," you know, she could definitely, you could even sing it, you could be like, "Poor unfortunate soul," and sing it as you bump someone back to home. And then Scar, his meanest line, "Long live the king." Just bump him back. So, you could play that way. Or you don't have to. I just think it's more fun that way. You can tell I probably put a lot of thought. I put a lot of thought into this game. So, that's Sorry. That is regular and villain Sorry. They all have to... The problem with villain Sorry is, like, they don't all fit in this box that they provide. You have to have them all laid down and not on top of each other. And the pros and cons still stand. It's an easy game. It's fun. It's quick. You don't have to be you don't have to be, you know, really, really, really. You can play with your kids. You know, you don't have to be like all on the same skill or reading level because again, it's all luck. Cons are, again, can't really travel with it, and like I said, competitive and for less people. So that's sorry. I hope you enjoyed my little demonstration and review, and I hope you guys all have happy holidays and keep playing. Bye.